Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We've explored the agency's animal operatives, their chemical crucibles, and their infiltration of the factory floor. But to truly understand the reach of the agency, you have to look up into the humid, smoke-filled skies of Southeast Asia. During the Cold War, the CIA didn't just book flights, they owned the airline. From the 1950s through the mid-70s, a fleet of civilian planes operated where the U.S. military technically wasn't allowed to be. This was Air America. It was an airline that didn't care about luggage. It cared about the logistics of shadow wars. If you can control the sky, you can control the chaos on the ground. Air America was a government-owned corporation that provided flight services in the Far East, primarily supporting covert operations in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. A quote from the Air America creed: anything, anywhere, anytime, professionally, end quote. The declassified files confirm that Air America pilots flew Lima sites, dangerously short, unpaved runways carved into the sides of mountains in Laos. The agency used the airline to transport the Hmong Secret Army, I may be pronouncing that wrong, it's Hmong, providing them with food, ammunition, and tactical support in their fight against communist forces. A quote from Neil Hansen, former Air America pilot: "We weren't the military, we didn't have rank, we just flew the missions no one else would touch, in planes that officially didn't exist." End quote. The declassified files reveal the opium problem, where local allies used Air America planes to transport raw opium to market, a trade the agency allegedly turned a blind eye to in exchange for military cooperation. Technicians at Air America developed the Fulton surface-to-air recovery system, which allowed a plane to snag a person off the ground using a balloon and a specialized nose yoke. The airline operated a search and rescue wing that saved hundreds of downed U.S. Air Force pilots while maintaining a civilian cover. The declassified logs show that Air America was the largest commercial airline in the world at its peak, with over 100 aircraft and 5,000 employees. A quote from a 1970 internal CIA review: "Air America provides the necessary deniability for our paramilitary presence. Without the fleet, our regional influence would collapse into overt military intervention." End quote. The declassified archives document Project Water Pump, where pilots trained Thai and Lao crews in secret aerial combat maneuvers. Operational breakthroughs included night drop navigation using primitive infrared beacons long before the advent of modern GPS. During the fall of Saigon, America helicopters were the primary vehicles for the evacuation of CIA personnel and their local assets. The declassified files reveal a ghost maintenance facility in Taiwan where aircraft were stripped of all markings and serial numbers before high-risk missions. Pilots were often paid in cash-and-carry bags, receiving bonuses for hot landings where the plane never fully stopped moving while under fire. A quote from a declassified 1968 memo: "The pilot's life is cheap. The cargo's secrecy is priceless." End quote. The declassified release confirms that the agency used the airline to distribute black currency, counterfeit local money designed to destabilize communist economies. Air America developed a specialized silent propeller for the Hilo Courier aircraft, allowing it to land undetected in jungle clearings. The declassified files show that many pilots were former Flying Tigers from World War II, recruited for their lack of bureaucratic hesitation. The airline's corporate records were kept in a specialized vault that was rigged with thermite charges to be destroyed in case of an audit or compromise. By 1976, the airline was officially liquidated, but the declassified files show the assets were merely moved to front companies that persist today. The documents describe Operation Meow, where pilots dropped thousands of boxes of feline-themed propaganda into Laos to symbolize the 9 lives of the anti-communist resistance. Air America established its own internal weather service, which was so accurate that local farmers began relying on it more than official government reports for planting seasons. A quote from Captain Eric Schilling, an Air America pilot. "We weren't looking for glory. We were looking for the next patch of dirt enough to put a wheel down without tipping into a ravine." End quote. The agency utilized a mechanical cargo ejector that allowed pilots to dump sensitive payloads in less than 3 seconds if an enemy interceptor appeared on the horizon. The declassified files revealed that the airline's flight medics pioneered the use of portable blood storage units in tropical climates, a technology later shared with the Red Cross. But even with the disclosures, the Manifest Delta files are a sea of black ink and pure redactions. What was too dangerous to be revealed even 50 years later? Get ready for the theory of the forever fleet. Speculation suggests that Air America never actually shut down. The rumor claims the redactions hide the registry numbers of modern civilian airliners you see at every airport, planes that are actually agency transport pods. They say if you look at the undercarriage of certain chartered jets, you'll find the hidden cargo hooks that prove the ghost fleet is still in the sky, moving assets between Langley and God knows where without a single record. What if the cargo was alive? A dark rumor suggests the agency was moving genetic assets out of the Cambodian jungle. The speculation is that the redactions hide the crate manifest of creatures that have no name in biology, hybrids developed in Station Z that were being flown to underground labs in the States. Some say the Bird King we mentioned in the Parrot episode was actually a passenger on the last flight out of Vientiane? I don't know how you say this. Vientiane. I think it's Vientiane. Is the moon a drop zone? Some whisper the redactions hide Project Highfly, where Air America was used to test high-altitude drug drops that could be picked up by early space capsules, and the black ink mask the ballistic trajectories. Watch for the chemtrail origin theory. Gossip claims the redactions prove Air America invented the aerosol dispersal system used to influence weather patterns over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and the black bars hide the chemical formulas. Are the planes submarines now? A wild theory suggests the redacted pages detail Project Amphibian, where planes were designed to dive underwater to avoid radar, and the black ink hides the pressure test results. The memory wipe rumor claims the redactions hide evidence that pilots who saw too much were subjected to electroconvulsive therapy to erase their flight logs from their brains, and the black bars hide the medical consent forms. Was the first drone a ghost? Some believe the redactions hide Operation Hollow Cockpit, where planes were flown by remote control as early as 1965, and the black ink mask the radio frequencies. The Cooper Clue rumor claims the redactions prove that the famous skyjacker D.B. Cooper was actually an Air America pilot testing a new agency parachute system, and the black ink hides his staff ID. Did they steal the gold? Gossip suggests the redactions hide Project Bullion, where the airline was used to smuggle the royal treasure of Laos into private Swiss accounts, and the black bars hide the vault codes. Some whisper that the redactions hide the fact that an Air America plane is currently parked in a hangar in Langley, ready to evacuate a shadow cabinet if the declassified files cause a total government collapse. Did the C-47 reach the stars? Some theorists believe the blacked out pages detail Project Orbit Air, where planes were modified with experimental rocket engines to reach the edge of space for secret photography, and the black ink covers the atmospheric re-entry logs. A wild whisper claims the redactions hide Operation Ghost Passenger, where the agency moved high-ranking defectors in lead-lined coffins to hide their heat signatures from Soviet sensors, and the black bars mask the relocation destinations. Were the pilots' brains the computers? Gossip suggests the redacted pages detail Project Pilot Link, where the agency tested neural interfaces to allow pilots to feel the plane's wings, and the black ink hides the brainwave feedback charts. The weather talk theory posits that the redactions prove the agency used artificial cloud patterns created by planes to send visual Morse code to agents on the ground, and the black bars hide the skywriting alphabet. Finally, is time different in the air? Some believe the redactions describe Project Kronos, an experiment to see if high-speed, low-altitude flight could be used to induce temporal disorientation in prisoners, and the black ink covers the subject recovery reports. Was Air America a success? Tactically, it was a masterpiece of logistics. It allowed the CIA to sustain a decade-long war in a country where they officially didn't have a single soldier. They rewrote the rules of aerial supply. Strategically, it was a moral quagmire. The declassified files show that by fueling the opium trade to pay for the war, the agency helped create a global drug crisis that would eventually follow the pilots home. They won the flight path, but they lost the ethical war. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, the Ghost Fleet left behind a legacy of innovation that defines modern aviation. For instance, STOL capabilities, that's short takeoff and landing techniques, developed for Lima sites are now standard for bush pilots worldwide. In-flight retrieval, the Fulton system paved the way for modern mid-air recovery and satellite snatching. Deniable logistics, the creation of shell airlines became the blueprint for moving sensitive cargo around the world without a paper trail. And mountain navigation, early terrain following maneuvers that would later be automated into cruise missile technology. Air America reminds us that the sky isn't just for travel, it's for secrets. As the declassified files reveal, the sky of shadows was a place where the line between a pilot and a smuggler and a patriot and a criminal disappeared into the clouds. Thanks for listening. Join us next time we examine Operation Cartel. The agency wanted a silent shield. We'll uncover the clandestine operations in the Ukraine. We'll look at the shadow advisors, the cyber saboteurs, and the secret supply lines that turned a regional conflict into a global chess match. Join us next time for the Kyiv Connection. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.